Once upon a time in the whimsical town of Sugarville, there lived a bunch of animated cookies. Yes, cookies with eyes, mouths, and tiny limbs that allowed them to walk and talk. They were a jolly bunch, always laughing and having a good time. One sunny morning, Chocolate Chip Charlie, the mischievous rascal of the cookie clan, had a brilliant idea. He wanted to break into the kitchen of Mrs. Baker, the town's legendary baker, and taste the fabled giant chocolate chunk cookie. This cookie was so big that it required an entire oven to bake, and the aroma wafting from it was rumored to be intoxicating. Charlie gathered his cookie pals, Gingerbread George, Oatmeal Olivia, and Peanut Butter Pete. They huddled together behind a giant whisk for their secret mission briefing. Charlie, with a twinkle in his chocolate chip eyes, whispered, "Listen up, my fellow cookies. Today is the day we embark on a great cookie caper. We shall enter the kitchen of Mrs. Baker and taste the legendary giant chocolate chunk cookie." The other cookies gasped and clapped their tiny cookie hands. Thrilled by the audacious plan, George chimed in, "But how do we get past her cat, Whiskers? He's always on guard." Olivia giggled and said, "Leave that to me, friends. I've got a catnip disguise that will make Whiskers go bonkers." And so, with Olivia's clever disguise, they wobbled past Whiskers, who was too busy chasing his tail to notice anything unusual inside the kitchen. They saw the legendary cookie in all its glory. It was golden brown with chocolate chunks as big as Cookie George's head. Charlie licked his lips and whispered, "It's now or never, team." They each climbed onto a rolling pin, and with a team effort, they pushed it towards the giant cookie. However, cookies aren't known for their strength, and the rolling pin came to a screeching halt halfway there. Pete, the strongest of the group, exclaimed, "I've got this." He flexed his peanut butter muscles and pushed with all his might. With a sudden burst of energy, the rolling pin surged forward, causing the cookies to catapult onto the giant chocolate chunk cookie. They landed with a soft thud, and Charlie declared, "We're on." They took a big bite of the giant cookie, and the taste was out of this world. The chocolate melted in their mouths like a warm, gooey waterfall of happiness. Just then, Mrs. Baker entered the kitchen, gasping in shock. "Who are you little rascals eating my giant chocolate chunk cookie?" Charlie, with a mouthful of cookie, tried to explain. "We couldn't resist. Mrs. Baker, your cookies are just too delicious." Mrs. Baker chuckled and said, "Well, I can't blame you. I make the best cookies in town." She picked up the mischievous cookie quartet and placed them back on the counter. "You can have some cookies, but you have to ask next time." The cookies learned their lesson that day and promised never to embark on a cookie caper without permission. And as they nibbled on the delicious treats Mrs. Baker gave them, they couldn't help but laugh at their sweet adventure. And so, in the cartoon town of Sugarville, laughter and delicious cookies filled the air once more, leaving everyone with a smile on their face.